How's everybody doing today? And we are back with part 4 of This Went Viral from the House of Havoc. Let's get right into it. When we last looked, our young men were being cornered by Oil Man. That's the name they came up with to describe this creature or this person that's a result of a satanic ritual that was performed somewhere nearby. And it's trying to cut them off and block the entrance so that they're trying to leave from. And he's pretty quick, but not so quick where they can't get around him. But suddenly, he manages to get in front of Don Don, then he jumps over to TB, and then he's right there at the entrance to stop them from going in and leaving. And they recognize it, so they back up. The momentum in which he passed them with, it just pretty much blew dust all up in their eyes, and they were having a hard time seeing as well. And he's just sitting there lurking and looking at them, staring at them ominously, with the intent to pounce at any minute. So they're running around, they're spreading out. TV says spread out. So they spread out to make sure that he doesn't have one person to pinpoint on or get them in a group. So they run around and they try to circle him. And they pick up shovels that are, for some reason, in this tunnel. And this cavernous opening that they've been led into, where they find all the bodies, they see all the bodies hanging or laying around. And so the last young man that's with TB and Don Don, he walks near one of the bodies. And when he does, Old Man throws something and it cuts open the bag and bugs fall all over the young man. And he's screaming to try to get him off, and he's throwing everything. He's screaming, he's dropping his shovel. Somebody help me, get these off of me, get these off me. So TB tells him to roll around on the ground and throw dirt on himself. And he does, and he gets up, and the bugs have pretty much got off of him as he's smacking the rest of them off of him, and he's covered in dirt and soot. And Old Man is still circling. He takes his trench coat and throws it over his right hip with his hand holding it back, as if he's going to shoot or draw down on them like an old Western movie. And he's pacing back and forth looking at him, and he's growling. So TB, doing what he does, he takes a yard rake and he throws it at the feet of Old Man. Old Man jumps to the right. And when he does, the rest of them start jabbing at him with the shovels that they have to try to get him to get away from the opening. And they do. They manage to actually get him to move away from the opening. And then they start actually hitting him. And these are some good, solid, old shovels. If you guys have ever seen those old school shovels with the solid, like the really sturdy wooden handles and that really, the really solid metal shoveling in with the metal where you scoop it up, you scoop the dirt out. And the young man that was hit with the bugs that fell on him, he had to run around in the dirt to get it off of him. He takes his shovel and smacks Old Man across the back as hard as he can. Old Man kind of takes a look at him, and he starts walking towards him. So TB and Don Don, they rush him, and they both show up Old Man, because one hits him high and one hits him low, and they actually knock Old Man forward. And then they say, run, go ahead and run. They tell the other guy, the other young man that's with them, to run out the entrance while they hold him off. And he does. And he's crawling through the tunnel. I mean, they can actually stand up, but it's quicker for them to crawl out than to try to stand up and walk out. And he does. But then, as they try to run, Old Man grabs TB and Don Don by the shirts and is holding them back, and he's trying to force them to the ground because he's not going to let them leave. And he starts walking towards the other end of the cavernous end, which has a huge cave opening. And he tries to take them into that area, never to be seen again. But lo and behold, the young man comes right back out of the opening, and he takes his shovel again, and he smacks Old Man across the back of the head so hard that he knocks the hat of Old Man sideways. And then you can actually see some of Old Man's face, but his head has been caved in from the impact on the left side, from the shovel impact. And he drops Don Don and TB, and he falls to one knee. And TB says, he's not as durable as I thought he was. He's pretty fragile. And with that, Don Don said, you smell all the kerosene? He said, I got a plan. I got a plan. You guys run to the entrance. And you go out, and TB says, okay. And then TB says, no, we're not going to play that game. I'm going to stay right here until you are right behind me and you're on your way out with me. But they send the other young man through, and he goes through. So Old Man's staggering to try to get up on his feet, and when he does, TB is pushed forward by Don Don, and Don Don throws down a candle. And when he does, the candle sets fire to the entire room. And it directly goes to Old Man because he's the most corrosive and toxic individual in the room with the kerosene and the oil smell to him. He's instantly set ablaze, and he stands up then. And he turns around and looks in their direction with sinister hate in his eyes. And we still can't really get a really good solid glimpse of his monstrous form. But he's just standing there burning. Then he starts walking towards TB and Don Don as they make their way out of the tunnel. And they're crawling, hand over fist, fist over hand, hand over fist, fist over hand. They're screaming. Don Don says, keep going, keep going. He's right behind us, he's right behind us. And they can actually see Old Man coming through because the flames, the whole tunnel, again, has the kerosene oil effects on the walls. So the oil is running, the flame is actually using the tunnel like a wick, and it's actually forcing them to crawl even faster out of the opening. So they crawl fist in hand, fist over hand, hand over fist, and they're really struggling to get out. And they finally make it to the opening, and they can see Old Man right behind them. All of a sudden, they make it to the entrance and the door. And in fact, they make it to the entrance and the door. And they can see Old Man really starting to burn even more. But he's not making a sound. He's not moaning. He's not groaning, anything. He's just determined to claim them. And lo and behold, the stairwell, when they climb up, it collapses. When they're looking back down, it's collapsing upon him. The house starts to catch on fire. They slam the doors. The flames are engulfing the entire house. And they all run out. And they all stand back. And you can just see the flames are just really, really have engulfed the house. And the last they saw of Old Man, he was standing there, but he was being crushed by the falling debris from the roof and the house just caving in on him. They're in their mind, he has no chance. And as they all come out of the house, they're coughing and trying to catch their breath. And Don Don asks TB, you think that's the end of it? And TB said, man, you've seen enough horror movies. You know, that's pretty much never the end of it, but I really don't see how he could survive that. But we don't even know what he was. So then you see fire trucks and ambulances and police officers come, and a few of the parents come outside to talk to, to see the young kids. Some of the kids are their parents. I mean, they're the parents of some of those kids out there with them, with TB and Don Don. And, they're hugging the kids, and the one young man and the other one that left him, they're arguing, and you left me. Well, you took too long. You still shouldn't have left me. And they're having their debate, and they're going at it. And Don Don and TB just give each other a fist bump as they look back, and then the house really starts to cave in, and you can see the firefighters hooking up their hoses to the fire hydrants, trying to put the flames out. And Don Don and TB back up off of the property, and they just stand there in silence, looking at each other, looking at the flames. And miraculously enough, TB has all of it recorded on his phone. He's actually been live streaming it the entire time. And just like that, this just went viral. And they're none too happy. They're should I say, they're not sad about it. They're so happy they can't even blink because their numbers are going way up. And they can possibly become celebrities from just this one act. But all in all, TB is still concerned about what that was. That lived next door. And nobody notices in the back of the building. Something's running out on fire across the open field where the grass isn't cut very well. And it's just running and running into the distance until it can be seen no more. And that's the end of This Went Viral. You guys like, comment, share, subscribe, retweet, whatever you got to do. Thank you for your time. Anytime you guys invest into what I'm doing is greatly appreciated ahead of time. Thank you in advance. I have published work already out on Kindle, Amazon, Nook, Ingram, and a lot of other outlets. So, I'm doing this as a hobby to make sure that you guys during these troubled times and these difficult times actually have some things that you can go back and look at and read. And when you discover this, you'll see that I have dozens of stories that I've been telling over the last 3 to 4 months. I'm going to do everything I can to continue these stories. Right? My intellectual property, and again, it's a hobby. But again, I do love telling stories and I do love writing books. So feel free, again, to show some support. And drop me if you guys want to drop $1 or $2, go ahead. My Cash App is $outrage95. And this has been L.A. Kendrick from the House of Havoc. Make sure you check the dark recesses of your home. Check your closets. Check under your beds. If you happen to work at night, be very, very mindful of your surroundings when you step outside. Take the time. Don't be lazy. Check under your cars because you never know what's lurking, waiting to make you a story. And this has been L.A. Kendrick, bringing you the heavy.